More unheard stories are coming out from this Pat Duffy AMA, in which he talks about his time on the Opie and Anthony show as a former intern. Now, he exposes a lot of people, brings up a lot of stories. I honestly find this one to be the most amazing one out of all of them so far. I'm going to do some more videos about the other ones, but I find this one to be the most interesting. So this guy asked, how/why did your stint at the show end? Pat Duffy says, it's basically intern David's fault. Long story short, by the time David came around, I had been there close to 4 years. It was painfully obvious that I wasn't going to be hired. At that time, the Sirius and XM had just merged, flooding the company with 1 million people that already had the job that I was looking for. So I was basically a dead man walking. Club Soda Kenny immediately took a liking to David and was treating him like gold. This was the bit at the time. If you remember, they made intern David like the intern boss and didn't make him do work. I guess it just wasn't a bit on the air. It was off the air too. Said he didn't have to do any normal intern grunt work. Gave him all the special privilege in the world. So when we used to switch studios and walk over to XM from CBS, there was a bin that contained some of the show's essentials. CD, books, headphones, 360 machines, etc. This was to be carried over by an intern every day. One day, I gave that task to David. Yeah, I would assume after being an intern for 4 years, you could be running the intern shit. So I gave that task to David. He immediately protested, but I wasn't hearing it. We got out to the street level where I then saw Club Soda Kenny asking David why he was carrying the bin. I walked past him and Kenny called out to me to take the bin and I refused. Just kept walking. Kenny then proceeded to call me a piece of shit and that I was fucking fired. About 20 minutes later, Kenny then proceeded... Steve C. pulled me aside and told me I was being let go because Kenny was considering me a security risk. I was then escorted out of the building and my time with the ONA show was over. Just like that. So Club Soda Kenny got intern Pat Duffy fired from the Opie and Anthony show. And he deemed him to be a security risk. Now that whole, at the time, the whole intern David thing, the boss of all the interns, was a radio bit. Now, how committed these people are to the bit off air, I guess very fucking committed. I guess mostly Club Soda Kenny, but, according to Pat Duffy, Club Soda Kenny was like, you're fucking fired, went and talked to Steve C. Yes. And then they fucking fired his ass. So, turns out Club Soda Kenny's a piece of shit. He used to be a cop. Come on. Nothing bad to say bad against cops, but there was this whole thing. I never really looked too much into it to, the real reason why he was fired for being a cop or some shit. I don't fucking know, but this is a real instance of him being a piece of shit behind the scenes. So, another example and another person that Pat Duffy is exposing. Now, one can maybe make an argument that maybe Pat Duffy should have did what he was told, but that's up for you to decide. But Pat Duffy exposing. He was fired because of Club Soda Kenny.